Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. Today's subject, how do I focus with so many voices? Let's try to unbox that in just a few moments. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. So glad that you've joined us today. And I want to ask you to do me a huge favor. Please like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. And check out in a description how you can partner with and support Unboxed. And I'm going to talk about something very specific that we're doing in the community today. I'm not going to hold you long, but I think that this will be instructional just at how we move forward in life, something that's really been helping me. Unboxed is the project coordinator for the task force to reimagine policing and public safety. Again, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you are on following us on YouTube, make sure that you hit that notification button so you can know when we're coming on live. Okay. Unboxed is the project coordinator for an initiative here in Denver called the Task Force to Reimagine Policing and Public Safety. Fancy name to just say this. We have brought together, our organization has brought together over 40 plus community organizations, as well as city officials and the Denver City Council, for the purpose of creating recommendations on how we can improve not just policing in the city, but also public safety. And the organization, matter of fact, you can learn more about the Task Force to Reimagine Policing and Public Safety at the website denvertaskforce.org. denvertaskforce.org. You can learn more about what we have done and see the reports that we have created, etc. And of course, you can imagine that if you're working with so many community organizations and community leaders, one of the challenges that you're going to run into is having so many individuals pulling in different directions, so many voices on how things are supposed to function, how things are supposed to operate. One of the other challenges is that you have to try to raise funds for these type of initiatives. So you have donors who also are saying, hey, you know, this is our thinking behind how the process ought to look and how things ought to go. So you can imagine, and many of you who are watching have been in this situation where you are being pulled in different directions. And of course, you're being pulled in a lot of legitimate directions. One of the things that we identified on the task force, and then I'm gonna talk about how we manage this. One of the things we identified is that because this is a truly community initiative, matter of fact, it's the only initiative in the entire country that is 100% community organized and community led. And I'm just so proud that Unboxed has the privilege of being the project coordinator and the lead facilitator for this initiative. So one of the things we identified when we were going through this process is that not everybody thinks the same way about policing and public safety. You have a continuum. You have some individuals who we refer to as reformers. They believe that the system is, fairly okay. We just need to make some adjustments and changes to how policing is done or how public safety is done. You have others who what are referred to as the defunders. They believe we ought to take money away from policing and that we ought to put it into more community initiatives and community-led initiatives. And we heard a whole lot this past summer about defund the police and what does that really mean. Another way to look at that is to divest, in other words, take money from the traditional way that we do policing and reinvest. So divest and reinvest. Take the money and reinvest it into community. And then there's another philosophy, and I kind of moved it from the right over to the left, if you will. The other one is what is known as abolitionists. Abolitionists believes that we ought to do away with and abolish police and jails as we currently know them. And so you can imagine when you're on a task force that has, close to 100 participants, over 40 plus community organizations, city officials, city council, all of that. And then not only do you have these different leadership representations, but then also having different philosophical approaches that you can have a lot of voices pulling in a lot of different directions. And if you are the project coordinator and you're responsible for creating the agendas, we were meeting since September until the end of February. We were meeting every single week on Thursdays for 2 hours every week on Thursday virtually, hammering through, trying to figure out what needs to be changed, what's working around the country, and all those different things. So you had to create an agenda, figure out, what presenters you were going to bring in, a lot of different moving parts with this. And of course, you have a lot of different voices, and you're trying to figure out how do you listen to every voice, what decisions do you need to make, et cetera, et cetera. One of the grounding principles, and this is what I want to share with you tonight, one of the grounding principles that will help you and that has really helped UnBoxed to be successful so far in this endeavor is this right here. Who am I responsible to, and what am I responsible for? That's the question. As you're getting all of these different voices pulling in different directions, the question that has to be asked is, who am I responsible to, and what am I responsible for? So, who am I responsible to in a situation where there are competing interests and multiple voices? And you say to yourself, I am responsible to each of the voices, to everyone that's on the task force, to all of the stakeholders, I'm responsible to them. Or whatever is your particular, maybe a family relationship situation. Because again, everything as in human interaction revolves around relationships. So it may be that I'm responsible to my mom, but I'm also responsible to my aunt, even though the two of them are not getting along and are dragging me in the middle. Who am I responsible to? It's very important in relationships to understand who's in the relationships and what responsibility you have, who you are responsible to in those relationships. The next question is, and this is really a grounding one. Once I've identified who I'm responsible to, the next question is, what am I responsible for? Too often we take upon ourselves too much responsibilities, which ends up draining us and exacerbating the people that we're working with. So for instance, in a family conflict, I'm responsible to my mom, I'm responsible to my aunt. What am I responsible for? Am I responsible for refereeing their relationship? And too often when we get caught in the midst of all these voices and all of these various pulling and competing and conflicting interests, we end up making an emotional decision because we've never taken the time to actually sit down and say, this is what I am responsible for. It helps a lot in your job because you get a job description, but even that becomes sometimes gray and murky because, you may have a job description that says something like you are responsible for organizing, leadership or organizing leadership development plans. And, that can be kind of gray. That's kind of, open to interpretations in different ways. So even then the question becomes, who am I responsible to and what am I responsible for? In those areas of relationships where it's not clearly defined by others, you have to clearly define, this is getting into boundaries, clearly define what you are responsible for and focus on that and not take upon yourself the responsibility of others. So what am I responsible for? I'm responsible for respecting my mom. I'm responsible for listening to my mom. I'm responsible for respecting my aunt, responsible for listening to my aunt, just using that as an example. What I'm not responsible for is refereeing their relationship. What I'm not responsible for is trying to mediate some kind of agreement between the two of them. What I'm not responsible for is trying to lower their levels of anxiety and trying to get them to be at peace with each other and a peace apart from each other. What I am responsible for is respecting, listening, being empathetic, whatever it may be. They may need you to take them places. I'm responsible for driving them to their doctor's appointments. I'm responsible for, doing little odds and ends around their house because, both of them may be elderly. Whatever, you get my point, whatever it may be. Identifying who you are responsible to and what you are responsible for helps to calm down all of the internal anxiety. Because you know what? It goes back to that Serenity Prayer 2.0. When you understand who you're responsible to and what you're responsible for, Lord, this here, knowing who you're responsible to and what you're responsible for, helps to center, to focus, and to guide you so that you're not all over the place, so that you're not taking on additional responsibilities and burning yourself out and stressing yourself out and worrying yourself silly, but rather helping you to really identify what you're going to do in that particular relationship, what you're going to do in that particular environment, what you're going to do within that particular job assignment, and sticking to it. It'll bring down a lot of stress on you. It'll relieve a lot of stress from others. It'll help them to become stronger in what they're supposed to do. It'll help you to be a master of what you're supposed to do, a master of your domain. You don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, but rather to be a master of your trade, to be proficient at what you do and to excel, and to unbox the power and the potential of relationships. I wanted to share that with you today because as we answer various questions, and please make sure that you continue to send your questions in. You can send them through our website. You can send them through direct message on Facebook, or of course you can email us on the email that's on your screen. We want to hear from you and we'll answer your questions live. But I wanted to share this tonight as a way to help ground and to root us when we're pulled in so many different directions. COVID has done just that, pulled us in every direction. And I wanted us to get grounded and rooted tonight. I'm so glad that you chose to join with us. And I want to encourage you to continue to unbox the power and the potential of all relationships. Until I see you again tomorrow evening, have a wonderful night.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.